Very excited for day 2. Hope you are too. First thing we're going to do is to show you the team again. In case you missed it yesterday, we ran a little video which tells you in a fun way who we are at the DBC. We're a team of about 10 people, and we want to firmly get in your minds who is who and who does what, so you know who to contact. So we'll run that video back to you again right now. Have a great day. Thank you.
Over the last 6 months, the Toilet Board Coalition team and steering committee have worked together to review our membership model, our ways of working, the 2025 strategy and results framework to ensure that the Toilet Board Coalition is fit for purpose and fit for growth. Today, we're going to walk you through a brief presentation of the updated model, the mechanisms and results framework. So first and foremost, our governance and membership structure. So this has evolved slightly, and I'm going to walk you through each group. So sector leading corporate entities and donors engage in the steering committee, and they drive the strategy and the agenda of the organization. This remains unchanged. Global associate members, which I'll speak to a little bit later as well, leading NGOs and academic institutions make up the Partnership Council. The Partnership Council advises into the program development and execution through annual member meetings, like this one, and biannual one-on-one check-ins with the Toilet Board Coalition team. The Cohort Council was founded in 2018 to offer an avenue to membership for alumni of the Accelerator Programme. It's imperative for us to continue engaging, learning from, and providing opportunities to the businesses that have come through the Accelerator Programme. We've refreshed their engagement specifics in 2021. They'll now meet on a quarterly basis to feed in to the quarterly steering committee meetings and feed into the annual member meetings as well. And the Investment Council. So we're now bringing the Investment Council, which was formerly known as the Investment Committee, into the governance structure of the coalition and formalizing our relationships with the investors within it. The full membership depicted here convenes twice a year to discuss mission priorities and activities. The Steering Committee, Cohort Council, and Investment Council also convene on a quarterly basis, and we strive to engage with any on the Partnership Council on a biannual basis in one-on-one calls. And this is what that looks like in logo format. So the Investment Council met to discuss this yesterday, so we don't have their logos here yet. And to note just that the Cohort Council is an opt-in. So upon graduation, they are eligible, but they are not automatically sort of enrolled into the Cohort Council because they must agree to specific terms of engagement with the coalition. And to note, we are also now tracking engagement of each of the members at each level to understand and reflect back to our different partners at the end of each year to help understand and see where they're engaging and to make sure that we're delivering the impact as a coalition that we want to. So on your screen are the new membership levels for corporate engagement. We trialed this in the T project in 2018 and 19, and we've now expanded it across the coalition. Steering committee membership remains the same, a 3-year commitment and invitation only to sector leaders. Global associate membership is on an annual recurring basis. It's open to all and uses an a la carte fee structure to tailor investment to engagement. Regional associate membership is for businesses interested in engaging in only one geography. The steering committee is established as a non-competitive space, and so only one business per sector is possible. The Toilet Board Coalition does welcome competitors to join as global associate members now, and to play an active role in the Partnership Council, roundtables, and projects. As detailed in the chart, steering committee members do have first review of mentorship and project opportunities, but we are opening mentorship opportunities also to the associate members, whether they be regional or global. The non-corporate membership avenues have evolved into 3 groups that are depicted and engagement as described on the screen in front of you. So we are reissuing and ask you to re-sign MOUs this year. We are clarifying that this is a 2-year commitment. As long as engagement is consistent, there is no limit to the recurrence of participation, but we do want to have those check-ins to make sure that it is a mutually beneficial relationship. And investor engagement. So we continue to convene. We wanted to do a separate slide just for investors, as we do have a handful of options or opportunities for them to engage. So we do continue to convene an open to all investor forum on a quarterly basis to present specific opportunities to investors. And then there's the Investment Council, which is invitation only and is for investors interested in developing innovative financing tools for the sector. And then select sector leading investors may also be invited to join the steering committee. The investor or donor must also be funding core TBC programming to be eligible for this opportunity. And in the event you were curious, we have a large detailed chart that spells it all out. So over the last quarter, we've also written a procedural document that takes all of these evolutions and spells out their processes in terms of how we can welcome each of those different member levels, what their engagement looks like, and how that plays out through our program and activity. And so this is a roundtable slide, and the audio seems to have dropped off. So we've evolved our member engagement mechanism as well. In 2016, we were about 15 members, and now we're nearer to between 50 and 60, depending on the investment council that we're onboarding now and the cohort council opt-ins as well. So our mechanism for engagement was really ripe for improvement. We want to ensure that we're working with you, the members, in the most agile and impactful way. And so we've developed this roundtable mechanism to enable us to work with you and your teams in a thematically or geographically focused manner. In 2021, the TBC has introduced the roundtable mechanism, which enables us to work in a more agile manner, creating focal points for engagement and providing an attractive and compelling avenue for existing and new member engagement. Roundtables are convened as needed from members on a fixed term basis, as long as supported by the steering committee. They include representation from all stakeholder types: the steering committee, partnership council, cohort council, and investor council. They oversee and catalyze regional or thematic work, and they're designed to be self-funding through the new membership structure. Roundtables may be proposed by any member of the to the Secretariat, who will then bring the proposal before the steering committee for a decision of support. All roundtables must secure the support of a steering committee member, who then acts as an anchor, aligning the roundtable's activities with the TBC's overarching mission and work. Roundtables are co-chaired by the steering committee member and operationally supported by the Secretariat. As a coalition, we advance together. And so roundtables must have multiple member parties interested to engage and activate a launch. Roundtables can be proposed around a specific theme or geography. Next slide. And then looking at Christelle, can you try and play on that one again? And then looking at a regional basis. So let's hop back then. Sorry, back to the confirmed roundtable slide.
Sorry, the slides keep moving on me. Hang on, give me 1 second. What's happening? Sorry, there's a bit of delay. And
with all of this,
as long as my internet, sorry
like
about that.
Reiterate that our vision and our mission remains the same.
We'll get there.
So the language may have evolved slightly over the years to account for the development of the sanitation economy approach, for example. But who we are and what we're here to do is unchanged.
What's happening?
I'm happy to share my screen if that's...
Okay. Sorry about that.
What we did notice as we reviewed our set 2025 strategy that was developed in 2019 pre-pandemic and reviewing our ways of working is that...
Gosh. All right.
Thanks everyone for your patience. Sorry about this.
Yeah, I think my internet connection is kind of slow and it's slowing. I can't move the slides. It doesn't respond to me.
Okay, I'll take back the share screen then.
Sorry about that.
And we can do it live.
I can't click anything. Oh, no, computer.
Estelle, I would recommend maybe stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I'm trying, but no control. My mouse doesn't react to anything anymore. I think my computer is about to have a heart attack.
There we go.
I can't even mute myself anymore.
Great, Alex, we can see your screen.
Are you not hearing it? Okay.
You need to share sound, Alex.
Yep. Sorry, folks. Look at this. There we go. Share sound. Is that they develop and support and advise into project-based work, whether that be around a theme or a geography. And so the geographical roundtables, like the India Roundtable, will be a convening of a community of business leaders focused on sanitation and how they can build a thriving sanitation economy in India. We're also launching a school sanitation roundtable that is chaired by Unilever, and this is looking specifically at how do we have a more sustainable school sanitation model, looking into operations and maintenance, impact measurement and monitoring, access and reuse products, and a number of things. We have... I'll stop there because we're going to talk about it later. And then the third is a smart sanitation and public health roundtable, which is chaired by our independent director, Cynthia Ramirez. And this is looking at how the data from sanitation systems can inform and support public health efforts. We do want to acknowledge that there are a handful of other themes and certainly geographies that are in development. And so what we're starting with is these 3 roundtables over the coming month to get them launched and operating, and then we'll look to see how we can sustainably build into the following roundtables. So agriculture is absolutely a key theme. There's a workshop on it later today, which you will hopefully unpack some interesting insights and ideas in terms of TBC engagement in that space. We do also have work bubbling up around oceans and plastics, perhaps together, perhaps separate items. Certainly around logistics, this is where the waste collection and treatment workshop is happening this afternoon, and communities and factories. And I think that ties in specifically to the climate workshop of yesterday, and looking at how we connect in our activities as a coalition to the wider narrative and action of the business community around climate. And then looking at a regional basis. So what is depicted on the screen? The blue dots represent our member priority markets. The light green dots represent the Accelerator portfolio. So as you can see, we have a strong ecosystem developing in India, South Africa, and close to one, I would say, in East Africa. We're interested in the coming 2 and 3 years, while maintaining the growth in those regions, to also focus on developing our presence and the sanitation economy ecosystem in Latin America, Southeast Asia, and West Africa. Specifically, I would say in Southeast Asia, looking at the Philippines and Indonesia, and specifically in Latin America, looking at Brazil and Peru. With all of this, we'd just like to reiterate that our vision and our mission remains the same. So the language may have evolved slightly over the years to account for the development of the sanitation economy approach, for example, but who we are and what we're here to do is unchanged. What we did notice as we reviewed our SET 2025 strategy that was developed in 2019, pre-pandemic, and reviewing our ways of working, is that there was some ambiguity or perhaps even some duplication in some of the middle areas. So where you go from the top of the screen here, our vision and mission, and a very broad and sort of general theory of change, down into the annual planning. So our projects on an annual basis, and our program, which is approved by the steering committee each year, both the strategic objectives and the metrics line, there was some ambiguity going into as we looked at it at the close of 2020. And so what we've worked on doing over the last 6 months is really to refine that and create the linkages between that vision and mission, between our core identity, and then also the program that we are continually delivering. So the intention here is that to connect and align and streamline and really bring those pieces together and refine that into a clearly actionable and a very strong, robust foundation for us as the coalition. We've worked throughout the last 6 months to refine our metrics and impact measurement processes with the support of USAID and members of the steering committee. We've also templatized our programming, which I'll speak to in a few slides, to be able to develop it in a more sustainable and consistent manner. And we've gone through a refinement process to land on 3 strategic objectives to guide our work over the coming 5 years and potentially beyond. We've also revisited those 2025 targets and core programming achievements. We've led a brainstorm with the team, reviewed and mapped that to reality check, and then voted to see where was the greatest appetite. So we've also invited the steering committee to participate in this process, and it is ongoing. Let me be very clear there. We're really looking forward, and we'd be happy to sort of share this Miro board with the full membership as well, if you're interested to participate in it. The objective was to take and sort of revisit the 2025 achievements that we had written out perhaps in 2019 and make sure that they were really fit for purpose with our vision and mission and our programming, post-pandemic context, and also looking at our metrics and making sure that everything was rolling up into each other and creating a really clear and defined process. So what that looks like, and again, we're in the final stages of this and inviting your thoughts and reflections on it, is the mapping into a concise and robust results framework. So taking us from strategic objective to program and program objectives to performance and outcome indicators, and what that looks like in terms of target achievements and the communications and impact that we'll be able to report in the coming years. Once this is finalized, it will be reflected back into the earlier table that took us from that vision and mission all the way down to yearly achievements and communication stories. And that will be used from here forward as we develop our programming and communications. And so I mentioned earlier that we've also templatized a lot of our programming. And this is really with the objective of setting ourselves up for sustainable growth. So what you see on the screen are 4 different channels for engagement, and this is reflected on our website as well. And what this looks to do is make it more sustainable for us from a resourcing perspective, but really harnessing what is, the USP of the Toilet Board Coalition. What is our strength, which is the business insights around the sanitation economy and sanitation businesses for serving low-income markets. And so what you see is there's the entrepreneur support. So this is the Accelerator Programme that we've run for the last 5 years, which, as Jasmine mentioned yesterday, we are continually looking at how it can be improved. But in terms of its format and its structure, that will continue as is. And then the innovation labs play a role in this as well. So they were designed to catalyze market development in around a specific gap that we've acknowledged in the sanitation economy, be that demographic, technological, business model, or geographic. Projects, these are collaborative projects that we can engage with multinational corporations or businesses and governments to really bring the sanitation economy to a specific environment or context through a collaborative project. Knowledge and insights, we can partner with members and partners to highlight different aspects and opportunities and evidence of the sanitation economy. And investment, we work with investors to facilitate and catalyze investment into the sector. So then, following on that, we wanted to just open it up first and foremost to any questions. So we have a bit of time before we move to program part 2 update, and just wanted to take a few minutes. If there are some questions, we're happy to field them, and we'll have more time at the end of the session, but we didn't want to build in only interactivity at the end of the session. We certainly wanted it throughout today. So happy to have some questions. Jay, I see your comment in the chat in terms of a bias or a focus, I would say, on enabling private sector. And I think I would say that is who we are as the Toilet Board Coalition. And I'm be happy to hear from any of the steering committee members if you want to speak to that as well. But we are founded with the mission and purpose to scale up private sector engagement in sanitation. And so we have made a concerted effort to focus our activity and programming on what we can contribute as a coalition there. Yeah, go ahead, Erin.
Yeah, and thank you for raising this, Jay. I think this is, you've kind of hit what we saw as the major shift and the objective in this new member model. So I want to be really clear what Alex highlighted at the beginning. The engagement of the Partnership Council, our Cohort Council, and the Investment Council remains the same. And we've actually created more engagement. We're going to be offering and expanding the membership, hopefully, of the Partnership Council to a much broader set of NGOs, so development, public sector actors. So equally alongside the engagement of the private sector, which I'll come to in a second, I think there is going to be a more expansive outreach to the public and the development sector partners, because we really think it's much more around creating that ecosystem that is going to enable the success, particularly when we look at these thematic and regional focus areas. What we were finding that as a business-led coalition, we were actually limiting the involvement of the private sector in our previous membership structure. So we only had the steering committee and the cohort council as a means of engagement. And so there was this missing middle of smaller regional private sector partners, of other large multinational corporations that maybe were already represented as in a sector on the steering committee. And so what this does is enable, just like we did with our public and development sector partners, it enables us to invite that much more inclusive private sector lens into the conversation. But Jay, I think we continue to be business-led. We continue to believe that the market-based approaches of the sanitation economy are going to help us create sustainable and lasting impact. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be excluding or in any way downplaying the other partners. And it's actually much more through the roundtable model about how do we bring together that ecosystem or that constellation of players to really create the impact. But hold us to account on that. And I think it's certainly something that we are road testing, and we're really excited to road test.
Thank you, Erin. And Anand, you've called out a question in the chat on leveraging from other sectors. And I think that is a key part to this. And as you heard, or we heard from Zinteo yesterday, and the work that we've been doing there with multinationals or private sector stakeholders that are outside of the sanitation sector is absolutely a key focus for us, is learning from how has renewable energy, how have other sectors traversed the season that we are in as a coalition. Shannon, you had a question around science and research. So I think this is the other very slight shift in the Partnership Council. We've added the opportunity for academic institutions. We had the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine on the Partnership Council, but also looking at how can we engage more distinctly the research and academic community and make sure that the work that they're doing alongside the work that the development sector is doing, that the coalition can build on that foundation and work alongside those other sectors as well. Jay, I see you had your hand up. Go right ahead.
Look, I picked this up, and as a contribution, because I see TBC as an important vehicle. It's how it gets perceived in the environment, and the messaging is very important. Okay, that's linked to the mission, the vision, and getting the messaging right around using the word enabling, is very, very key, that it doesn't become an exclusive bias that says, private sector is there to solve everything on its own, etc. So, when I was reading the strategy, etc., that's why I picked this up. That becomes quite risky if the messaging is wrong, that we'll kill the baby before it is born. And it might be taken in a very different way. So yeah, it's great to create the enabling framework for getting more private sector involved in the space, but getting that message out adequately and properly is very, very key. Because you're going to play in a very strong public sector environment, especially in the developing world. So if you are not able to disrupt it and find your way, this might destroy it.
Thank you, Jay. Erin has put a response in the chat, but absolutely, and this is why we're coming to you, the members, with this version of this information as well, to get your feedback exactly like this, and to help us refine that messaging. Did someone else have a question or reflection? Okay. Then I think we'll keep moving on. So next we're going to turn to urban wash in India. Sunil, I hand it over to you.
Thank you, Alex. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on day 2. So here is a quick update on the Urban Wash program, which is strategically supported by the USAID India. So there are a few programs that we have been working on in the Urban Wash. One is the facilitating the implementation of sustainable public toilet businesses in cities, and particularly right now we're starting with Mumbai city. There was a request from Mumbai city that they sought TBC's help in identifying good business models to address the public toilet provision and maintenance in high footfall areas. And from that request in December 2019, we have been engaging with the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. And we have had already conversations with our entrepreneurs and the Mumbai city officials. And finally, we agreed on trying out Lutel Smart Washroom business model at a couple of locations in Mumbai. And we have already submitted a proposal to them. Some feedback was given to us by the municipal council, and we have got back to them. But unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, things are on hold right now, but we are hoping as soon as things get back to a little normal, then perhaps we'll move forward at a much faster pace. In the similar space, we have also recently concluded our initial phase conclusion of our partnership with the World Economic Forum, and this would come out as a publication in terms of the best practices that we have been able to show to them in terms of public sanitation in India, and 4 cities are covered globally, and Mumbai is one of them. And we have also instituted, actually with the government of India, we have also instituted a challenge on creating a public wash, sorry, I'm just fumbling, a challenge which announced 4 weeks ago, I believe, where we are looking at entrepreneurs to come up with solutions that would use minimum water, I think 2.5 liters of water for flushing the toilets, and the results would be out soon. Could you please move to the next slide, Alex? Thank you. The next was based on the learnings from the Pune Smart Sanitation City project. We have developed the city sanitation playbook, which would help the decision makers in implementing sanitation as a readily available tool, as a manual for them to look at how to go about implementing the smart sanitation system. And also we are trying to work with the support of the USAID India in reaching out the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs to implement decentralized treatment systems in a couple of tier 2 towns, which are more also called as the Amrut cities and towns. Would you please go to the next slide? And my colleague Nimish has also been working with the Unilever India team in taking forward the Mumbai's Suvidha Center, which is the community sanitation, which is provided in low-income settings in India, to the National Capital Region, where the government of India has expressed keen interest to implement some of these successful models in the National Capital Region. Could you please go to the next slide? And finally, last year we had worked on creating star-rated public toilet guidelines, because this is an interesting concept here. How do we compare 2 toilets in terms of which toilet is better? Like, for example, if I have to compare a toilet in Mumbai with a toilet in Delhi, how do I compare? What are the commonalities for such comparison, or what are the benchmarks for that? So we have created these guidelines last year, and this year we are focusing on piloting the implementation of these guidelines in some of these cities. And one of our entrepreneurs, Lutel, has actually agreed to do a self-assessment of all their public toilets in terms of identifying where do they fall in terms of the rating based on the guidelines. Again, unfortunately, because of the lockdown, the sanitation facilities are currently not functional, so that's been on hold. We are also striving to work with the Anand's team and take it with the Swachh Bharat mission directors in terms of how do we identify to bring it, make the star toilet guidelines as a part of the Swachh Sarvekshan, which is the annual ranking of cities for sanitation. We are already midway for this year, but we are trying to see if we can get it as a part of the Sarvekshan next year, or if that's not possible, at least we'll initiate the conversation and try to take it forward in the near future. Thank you. Over to you, Alex.
Great, thank you, Sunil. And Anand, I believe you're with us. We'd love to hear from you as this work has been really championed from the USAID mission in India.
Alex, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be part of those members meeting today. Sunil, thank you for summarizing an excellent presentation, and Nimesh, as always, holding the pillar together with real robust examples from the private sector. Coming back, yes, USAID is a preferred partner to the government of India for the water and sanitation programs, primarily the Swachh Bharat mission and the Amrut programs. And just what Sunil presented, I think these would be very critical inputs as we are shaping up the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. The first Swachh Bharat mission was from 2015 to 2019. It got extended for some time into the COVID year. But again, the second phase, which is Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, one of the world's largest sanitation programs, has been delayed as we speak. We were expecting the launch on 1st April till the time that the surge hit us. So I think we are going to be deferring a little bit. But I think what Sunil presented and Alex, to answer to your comments, these are very critical inputs. We will be working very close with the TBC India team so that these inputs are part and parcel of the government norms are for Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, which would be from 2021 to 2026, a 5-year horizon. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to these inputs to be part of the government rollout plan. Thank you so much again for having us invited to this event. We look forward to participating and contributing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining, Anand.
May I say something, please?
Certainly, David. Yep. Is everyone to have
No.
David's stalled?
Screen is frozen.
Okay. Yeah, we'll also pause here for comments or questions. Oh, David, it seems you're back now. Go right ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about Nepal. I know it's the outpost of the empire, but it's an important initiative that we've got going. We have a private company there, a social enterprise called Erasan Sustainable Sanitation. And we're just now negotiating with the major municipality in Kathmandu Metro City, where they are putting substantial investment into 50 new public toilets based on the Erasan design, which I talked about yesterday, which has the integrated anaerobic digester, et cetera, So I'm not sure if we can be kind of a peripheral member of that that network of Indian cities.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we can certainly pick that back up following in the coming weeks. Absolutely. No, it would be great. I think Sunil and the team we can connect with you to look at what's possible there. Are there any questions? Sorry, I realize I've skipped ahead on the slide. Are there any other questions about the Urban Wash in India program or
Alex, this is Anand.
Yes, Anand.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that India is working towards creating a regional database of successful stories and initiatives that are in this region. That includes Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, to name the few countries that we're looking at. And I think one of the things that I think we would be working closely to see how we can bridge that would be through the TBC opportunity. If that is something that I think, Alex, through your team and through Portia from Washington, we can basically have this rolled out. But there is a discussion as we speak on getting the regional
Thank you.
Can I just make a point, Nimish, here?
Of course, Nish.
Yeah, I think we at TBC have believed that in this South Asia story. In fact, we on developing the star-rated toilets, Bhumijo, based out of Bangladesh, was also one of the contributors and resource person. So we have taken that inclusive approach in building, the program. In this case, the specific example being the star-rated toilets. So happy to do it.
Thank you, Nimish.
Hello, this is George from the GSMA Mobile for Development Program. Thanks a lot for the presentation, Sunil and Nimesh. I was just wondering if you could talk a bit more about, if at all, if there are applications of technologies and innovation that kind of go into this program, just because obviously we're quite interested in the digital innovation angle to urban sanitation, and whether the interesting use cases we should also kind of be aware of within this program.
Sure. I mean, our work is, digital is increasingly becoming central to our work. In fact, not sure if you were present yesterday, where the cohort presented, and quite a few of them have digital at the heart of their technology. You think about Wulu, for example, which is a app that is about locating clean, hygienic, and safe toilets for women, and it is completely digital and app based. So definitely digital has a huge role to play in the emerging sanitation economy, and we'll be happy to share with you separate examples and possibilities in that space, including the recent document that Sunil just touched upon, is how to integrate digital in the sanitation sector. He has published a playbook, and with that we can have our initial discussions.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
And Sunil, perhaps you could answer Nazir's question that's in the chat, but maybe you can answer it live.
I was actually typing the response to that. Sure. Yes, Nazir, the idea is there would be an audit team, and also all these toilets would be accessible through an app. Like, for example, if you look at Pune city, all the toilets that are already available within the city are geolocated, and the city is also bringing it on an app. So, for example, Wulu, one of our accelerators of this year, they are aggregating all the toilets, and these toilets would be available for any of the ladies who want to access a toilet. Now, when you are looking at these toilets, you not only get the location, but also the reviews and the rating that was given to them by themselves, as well as a third-party audit partner, which would be evaluating it based on the guidelines that have been provided. We are still not calling it standards yet, because we are not following the ISO standards, and it's a lengthy process. So we want to start with the guidelines to begin with, and then eventually take it to the standards. So I hope that answers your question.
Excellent. Conscious of time, we're going to move to the next element of the program to ensure that we have time for the innovation lab work at the end. So next is school sanitation, and this is really a project at its beginnings. This is something that Unilever has brought to the coalition and is highly interested in. And we've noticed and had a call actually earlier this week with each of our corporate members on the steering committee, who are all leading school programs in a variety of ways, but they're each all leading them as well. And so we're looking at how we as the coalition can take the insights and understandings that we have around operating sanitation businesses in low-income markets, and how that can be applied to school sanitation. And so we've had some initial conversations here, and what we're going to have Simran from Unilever in just a moment speak to this. But as mentioned in the earlier presentation, we're launching a roundtable that will bring together and engage any from across the membership that are interested in this space, for us to look at how we as a coalition with our collective strength and collective experience can open up and optimize school sanitation and develop a model that works within existing conditions or close to existing conditions, but is sustainable on a long-term basis. And Sim, I'll pass it over to you for some comments.
No worries. So I'm going to keep it brief, everyone, but hello from London. So I'm Sim, and I'm a global brand manager here based in Unilever. And yes, we tabled this opportunity to the Toilet Board Coalition as school sanitation in particular is something that is of growing interest, particularly if you look at the indicators that are available at the moment on the JMP. Yet, nevertheless, as we look to solve so many of the issues regarding the sanitation crisis, one thing that is routinely overlooked, irrespective of the growing importance that it has within the JUMP report done by the WHO and UNICEF, is that, yeah, there doesn't seem to be a clear and long-term as well as sustainable approach in improving school sanitation, particularly through the lens of operation and maintenance. And we as Unilever have been working in this space for a number of years now with a model that we believe is beginning to achieve scale. And we believe, certainly at this moment in time, that the opportunity is ripe for our other private sector partners via the Toilet Board Coalition to be able to get involved in trying to find a solution to the school sanitation crisis. I mean, at the end of the day, we predominantly in this sector look at community approaches to total sanitation as a rule, but we know that schools quite often are the focal point for many communities. And not only that, but I believe that, I think it's quite a principled understanding that future generations are the ones who are going to be leading the world, and therefore, if we can't provide them with the basics of safe and clean toilet during a crucial period of their life whilst they're at school, then we are equally as culpable in not trying to solve the issue in the right way. So yes, and interestingly, I suppose, and this was brought up in a few points earlier on, we specifically work within public sector channels as well in order to try and achieve scale with our school sanitation initiatives. So I think this is a great manifestation of an opportunity of showing how private sector can, as a collective, drive further interest and investment behind school sanitation in particular, and get further public sector buy-in and find a more circular approach in terms of improving school sanitation, and actually in of itself creating an ecosystem. And we're looking at two different opportunities, really from an advocacy lens, looking at trying to influence policy, but also from a programmatic lens of really turning it into a profitable venture to improve school sanitation. So yeah, really glad to be able to at least share some initial thoughts and some exciting opportunities that as we've cited as a collective. And happy to get any other thoughts or builds from you. But yes, thanks.
So just a note on the roundtable. So I mentioned earlier that they'll launch in the coming few weeks, and then they will be open to across the membership for participation. So there are certainly those that we've pre-spoken to a few, because we know you work in the various spaces, and we would really like to see your buy-in and support of the roundtables. But that will also be open to the full membership. So you'll hear from us in the coming weeks about those as they launch, and have the opportunity to opt into those. We'll pause for maybe 2 minutes if there are any questions. You can also mention them in chat, and we can always take them again at the end of the day if there is anything, but I want to make sure we've got time for the Innovation Lab.
I was going to ask Anand, would you mind elaborating a little bit for me on your question, just so make sure that I provide you with the right answer.
Yeah, perhaps I'll give you a cue to the answer itself, but
that's fine. No worries.
In the school WASH programs that USAID has been supporting for the last, 10-20 years, I've been with them for the last 30 years. One of the things which is coming very clearly is that when we ask the questions to people like the urban poor people, would you have had your children in this school had these toilets not been in this condition, which is the improved condition? And they said, well, we would actually think twice. In other words, the enrollment we saw actually went up, particularly the girl child. And
yes.
Those are the kind of things which I think would be interesting for you to track. And that's number one. The other thing in the development sector, we do see the dropout rates of children, particularly in the public schools versus private schools. And with this improved sanitation services, what we saw was that the dropouts were reducing. So it would be nice if those kind of theses and other elements could be tracked when you're doing the programs. So those were the kind of things that we would like perhaps you to keep in mind.
No, absolutely, Anand. I think even our own understanding in regards to the correlation and specific relationships around enrollment, academic performance, also general improvements in well-being, as well as even potentially health, are key metrics that we want to keep in mind. And ultimately at the end, and I think what that enables us to do, to be honest, Anand, is that it gives us the opportunity to build a more coherent and compelling narrative. One of the reasons why we are seeing a decrease in WASH funding across the sector, across the sector at the moment is because I don't think we've done a good enough job of being able to incite and create compelling narratives that would make people outside of the sector, as well as people within the sector, wanting to help us, help us further our achievements and our goals. I think we're so focused on doing the work in the right way that sometimes we forget about some opportunities that can help us elaborate in a bit more detail what we do and the impact that it can have. So certainly really appreciate those builds, and we'll definitely keep it in mind. Absolutely.
Thank you, Sim. Thank you, Anand. Prakash, happy to give you a moment, but we just do need to keep to time, but go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. I just want to come into this very important topic of school sanitation in Nepal, particularly after the earthquake, because of the massive destruction of the schools, whether it's in rural or in urban. Asian Development Bank, through the government of Nepal, is putting a lot of money to rebuild the school buildings, which is very nice. And so we have very strong and earthquake resistant buildings, but unfortunately these school buildings do not have the toilets, though our policy and regulations specifically say that. I mean, especially after the ODF campaign and movement, it's very unfortunate that, I mean, school do not have toilets, and the principals are going out to the development agencies asking for the toilets to be built. So how can we address this kind of, like, I mean, discrepancy of this the funding that come in through the government? So it's very shocking to us that, I mean, the buildings are there, very nice buildings, but without the toilets. So this has to be also addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prakash.
Just to lend a couple of comments to that, I think, to be honest, Prakash, the fact is that there is a serious misalignment in regards to prioritization in many infrastructure projects that have been orchestrated by certain areas of the public sector. And I believe the critical juncture between these topics is around CapEx and OpEx. First, can you get a toilet? Can the infrastructure be provided to enable people to have toilets, irrespective of the setting, but certainly within schools? Typically, we tend to find that most schools have at least that minimum infrastructure. It's appalling to see, if that is the case in Nepal, that they're not even being provisioned with toilets when they are being rebuilt. But then afterwards, it's really about how do we ensure that those toilets keep maintained and remain functional and usable for as long as possible, because One of the reasons as to why people are put off by getting involved into sanitation programs and things like this, particularly in the school space, is that usually they think that it requires a lot of OPEX and a lot of infrastructure cost, which then makes people lose sight of actually what the overall objective is. So yes, certainly something to keep in mind, and something that we would like to be continuously advocating for in the right forums and the right spaces with our partners, who are better adept at making building that infrastructure that perhaps we. Certainly, thank you for that. Cool.
Jay, go right ahead, because I know the WRC's work on this has been so incredible. So yes, please.
Yeah, responding to the kind of our experiences that the enablement and the mindset shift and change in the corporate environment needs to happen, because it's not a new phenomenon that corporates do support schools, etc. I mean, where I live, the big corporates support the rugby teams and the soccer teams and the horse riding teams. But when you ask them to cross the road to support a lower income area, then it's like a taboo, and that mindset needs to change. The transition is that those are our future customers, and those are our future what you'd call skills. So if we empower and enable those areas, we grow our own markets. And I think that's what we're seeing difficult around the mindsets in the management, etc., that come from the background that only if we sustain the more market-based schools, etc., our market would keep growing. And I think this is what we're trying to break in the corporate culture as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
It needs to be a holistic ecosystem, and at the end of the day, as I said right at the beginning, this is for future generations who will be future customers, who will be future world leaders, and so it's almost criminal if we're not looking to improve sanitation in schools as a basic human right. But yeah, point noted. All right.
Thank you, Sim.
No worries.
I'm sorry, Theo, we've got to keep moving, but please put your comment in the chat, and we'll certainly have time at the end of today to come back to it. Jasmine, handing it over to you.
All right, hey everyone, really excited to be here to talk about our incredible pilot, Women in the Sanitation Economy Innovation Lab. We started this program last year for the first time, and we're about to be wrapping up our first cohort. So we're excited to share with you all about the process and learnings. And so yeah, I guess Christelle or Alex, are we gonna transition to? Oh, okay. Awesome. So I guess today we're gonna go ahead and hear from our entrepreneurs. Alex, really fast, I just wanted to see if there was the video before or no.
I think the video is at the end.
Yeah, okay. I can comment. We're first introducing the companies with short videos like we did yesterday for the entrepreneurs, and then we hear more from Kimberly Clark as well and from Jasmine. The reason why everything is mainly pre-recorded is because a lot of people are, it's the middle of the night for them.
Yes, perfect. So a lot of us in the US, it is quite early. So our colleagues at Kimberly Clark will have the recorded message. So I just wanted to calibrate before I repeat some things that's on the pre-recorded version. But yeah, let's go ahead and hear from our incredible women entrepreneurs that enabled this program to be catalyzed. We have Mama Toto from Kenya, Bee Girl operating in the US and Mozambique, Turn and Flow in the UK, Usafi Sanitation in Kenya, as well as Sina Consultancy in Kenya. So these are our entrepreneurs. You'll hear a little bit more about the program, the process of how we got to the program, what we're looking to accomplish with the program in the video later on.
Hi, I'm Carly. I'm the founder of Mama Toto Cloth Diapers. I am a mom of 3 and I've cloth diapered all my babies and excited to be sharing our products.
B-Girl is a social venture that at the heart has design. Basically, what we do is we create beautiful products to celebrate women's bodies and their periods and menstruation so they can embrace their body, they can have agency, and ultimately make really and better informed decisions.
Usafi Sanitation is looking to bridge the gap of sanitation in schools by providing waterless green toilets in schools that are in the rural part of Kenya and the peri-urban areas around Kenya.
Sena Consultancy is a social enterprise that provides safe, dignified, and hygienic sanitation solutions to persons who are mobility challenged, and this include persons who are physically challenged and the elderly. And we're doing this through the provision of a portable toilet known as the Utulove toilets.
Hey all, my name is Jazz and I'm the Accelerator and Innovation Lab Manager here at the Toilet Board Coalition. I'm tuning in today from Atlanta, Georgia, and I would firstly like to acknowledge the traditional and ancestral territory of the Muskogee and Cherokee tribes of Georgia, upon which I'm learning, growing, and organizing today. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to share with you all about the incredible journey that we've been on as we've envisioned, crafted, and executed with our amazing colleagues at Kimberly-Clark the first of its kind program that celebrates, supports, and further enables women entrepreneurs and women's health within the sanitation economy. This all started as an idea in 2019 at the TBC Summit in Pune, based off of the findings from our For Women, By Women, and Her Future workshops, when our collective coalition identified the urgency and required agency in building an inclusive pipeline for women to both thrive in and as a result of the sanitation economy. In early 2020, the TBC expanded its reach in catalyzing innovations and business models that fill the gaps in order to leapfrog to next generation sanitation systems. And this is how the Innovation Lab program was born. This format presents a framework for the TBC to work in a more targeted manner, whether that's technologically based, demographically based, geographically based, in order to build a thriving ecosystem around the sanitation economy. The Innovation Lab program also enables TBC members and team to work with an earlier stage businesses, right, that are more in a more flexible manner than in the Accelerator model, which is more focused on businesses that are ready for scale. So later last year, amidst a global pandemic and a social justice reckoning that has and continues to disproportionately impact the livelihood and career advancements of women and girls around the world, the TBC and Kimberly-Clark's Kotex brand proudly launched the Women in the Sanitation Economy Innovation Lab pilot program. The goal of this program was to catalyze and cultivate early stage ideas and businesses within the sanitation economy that are either women-led or women's health focused. We welcomed 5 inspiring entrepreneurs leading blossoming enterprises from menstrual health to diapering across the US, UK, Mozambique, and Kenya. These entrepreneurs have crafted strategic work plans with their incredible mentors from Kimberly-Clark and have engaged in over 12 professional development webinars from our membership on topics ranging from HR to product development to unit economics. We are collating our final learnings into a write-up of the program, so stay tuned for that. And thank you so much to our community that enabled this pilot program to take place. The best is yet to come at the intersection of innovation and inclusion within the sanitation economy. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Melis Şener, and I'm the Senior Global Marketing Manager at Kimberly-Clark, responsible for adult and feminine care brands. And I had this great chance to work with Toilet Board Coalition on our Innovation Lab Women in Sanitation Economy Mentorship Program. As a purpose-led brand, Kotex exists to ensure a period never gets in the way of any woman's progress. And through our brand commitment of opening doors for all women, this program was a great opportunity to support women entrepreneurs and to promote women's empowerment and also help fill the gaps in women's leadership in products and services within the sanitation economy. Also, through this program, our employees around the world had the chance to be part of our purposeful actions, and they mentored these women-led businesses and support them in their journey to thrive, achieve their goals, and also positively contribute to some of the world's most pressing sanitation issues. So thank you to all our entrepreneurs, our mentors, and Toilet Board Coalition for making this real and to be part of this meaningful impact.
Hi, my name is Natalie Baron. I am the Marketing Research Manager for Adult and Fem Care in EMEA. I've been doing this role for the past 10 years. And in this mentorship, I have mentored a lovely lady called Kimberly from the company called Turn and Flow. Turn and Flow are in a very early stage of their business. Kimberly is a very young entrepreneur who has a very good and interesting idea. And what I did with Kimberly throughout the last few months is discuss ways which she and her company can address potential consumers. We've charted a questionnaire designed for venues, and would they be to understand how much would they be interested in putting such a bin in their venue. We've charted a questionnaire for end users and how much are they interested in recycling their own menstrual care, and would they prefer to go to a venue where they would know that menstrual care is being recycled there. So we've done quite a lot of work around how to ask the questions, who to ask, and how to interpret results. This was how I mentored Kimberly, specifically in the areas of how to do market research with her different target audiences. But obviously, also me as a mentor also found a lot of benefits from this process. First of all, I think the spirit of a young entrepreneur of thinking on how to change the world has given me quite a lot of energy and thoughts about sustainability within KC and how can we make that be bigger and bolder, and how can we change the world with what we do in KC. Second is, I think, the spirit of creating something from scratch. It's really contagious, and you would want to take it forward. And okay, so last but not least, I would say this process has taken me back to first steps in marketing research, to really think differently about consumers. What are they looking for? What is missing for them? And how can we do design thinking, right? So think about the solutions for problems consumers have with a very creative way of thinking. So that's it. Thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this program, and good luck.
Hello, my name is Pete Del Camara. I serve as the Chief Scientist and the Technical Vice President for Kimberly-Clark. I also serve on the Toilet Board Coalition and as executive sponsor for the Women in the Sanitation Economy Innovation Lab. And this Innovation Lab is aimed at empowering women entrepreneurs to help solve the global sanitation crisis. Kimberly-Clark's support of the Innovation Lab fully aligns with our Ambition 2030, which is aimed at addressing the social and environmental challenges facing our world over the next decade. Part of the ambition of our 2030 goals is to improve the lives and well-being of 1 billion people in underserved communities all around the world. Supporting the Innovation Lab helps us achieve our ambition by addressing 3 of the sustainability goals of the United Nations. These are SDG 3, which is fostering good health and well-being, SDG 5, which is achieving gender equality, and SDG 6, providing clean water and sanitation. Over the last year, these women-owned and operated businesses in the Innovation Lab have made tremendous progress, including the development of prototypes, launching new businesses, expanding into new markets, and winning awards. I am very proud of this program and the part I've played in this program, and to have been a mentor to some of the business owners in the Innovation Lab. It has been a great learning opportunity for me personally, and I encourage others to get involved as well. The benefit to big companies like Kimberly-Clark is that you gain new consumer and market insights that you might not have gotten any other way. You also get to see the positive impact that you have on these startup companies. And I think most importantly of all, you walk away inspired because of the passion and progress of these entrepreneurs. So my thanks to the Toilet Board Coalition, to Kimberly-Clark, and to the women entrepreneurs in the Innovation Lab. Thank you.
I'm Sawad Mautin. I'm a regional baby and child care product developer. I've been with Kimberly-Clark for about 5 years now, 5 years, 10 months now. I started as a shift process leader working in the mill in Lagos, but now I focus on new product development and product optimization for existing products. I sit in Reigate office in the UK office, and I spend a lot of time with my family in Finland, working from home and traveling to KC locations. Now, the company I mentored and my mentee, the program is still on, so it's Maureen Amakam Bane of Usafi Sanitation Limited in Kenya. She's been in sanitation industry for about 10 years. Currently, she's focusing on affordable and portable hand wash station and waterless toilets. And our major customer targets are schools and public places. I supported her on how to develop our own sustainable production in Kenya instead of importing. because it's very difficult to import. And major thing we did is looking at possibility of collaborating with Technical University of Kenya. So we discussed the approach and the watchouts when going into this type of partnership with an academic institution, and making sure that the objectives are well aligned and what she should look forward for in the future. Now, I've done similar thing in the past when I was working for a university in Finland. So I shared my experience with her. And with that, she's been making very good progress. Now, what I've learned and what I believe I will take with me for life and also apply in my job is, first, I'd like to appreciate Toilet Board for this initiative, because for about 22 years, I did not have access to real toilet. When I was growing up, I grew up in a humble background, humble family. We did not have access to toilet, and I was also homeless for about 2 years, which made it worse at that time. But this program has really reminded me of how to contribute to people who are going through such situation that I'd gone through. Now, in the future, I would really like to continue to help in this hygiene business generally. And for my job, I've come to appreciate more entrepreneurs, and I will see myself more as an entrepreneur in Kimberly-Clark rather than an employee. So these are some of the things I've learned through this program. And for life, I will remain grateful to Toilet Board for bringing this solution to people who are going through difficult situation at this time. Thank you.
We won't start the break quite yet. We do have a few minutes for any questions around the Innovation Lab, and then we'll also have time again at the end of this session today. But if anyone does have any questions about the program, we're here to answer them.
I gather it's going to run again this coming year.
We'll see. It's still in development and discussion with Kimberly-Clark about that, and kind of what is the next iteration of it and what makes the most sense.
And very inspiring. Thanks. And well done to Jasmine and Kimberly-Clark for driving it. I think that comes from all of us looking at the comments.
Thanks, Theo. Appreciate it.
And I think without further ado, we will move to break. So 10 minutes, again, just like yesterday. We'll have a counter on the screen, and then we'll come back and move into our workshops. Thanks, everyone. Great. Well, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your break and are freshly caffeinated or etc. We're now going to move into the 3 workshops that we've spoken about that are planned. So you have 3 different options. It isn't the most intuitive in Zoom to pick a breakout room, so we've sort of spelled it out for you. I'm going to launch the rooms right now, and then if you can, you'll need to click, or it will prompt you to click, and then you can decide which room you want to go into. And on the screen are your directions of how to do that. So you pick which room you'd like to be in, you move to the right and roll over it, and it'll say join, and then you click to join, and I think you have to double opt into it. So I'm headed into the Smart Sanitation Public Health room. Christelle is going to stay in this main room and can help anyone that's having any technological challenges, and then we're all going to come back together in about 45 minutes for a report back on the session. So have lots of fun, participate, and look forward to hearing how it goes for everyone.
Christelle, when I click on the waste management thing, it's still showing it as in progress, and there's nothing happening.
I think Alex has to activate it first.
I think she's gone.
Where do you even see the links? Sorry.
No, when I click on the breakout rooms at the bottom of the Zoom link that I am on right now, where you have your mute start video at the bottom of the Zoom screen.
Yeah.
Right? These breakout rooms. When
yes.
When I click on it, it showed me 3 options. So I selected the 3rd one, and it shows as in progress, and nothing is happening.
Okay. Which one was it? The waste and collection and treatment?
That's correct.
Yeah?
Yep.
I can see if I can move you manually. Where are you?
Because I'm leading that, I need to be there.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to find you in the participants. Assigned to waste. Okay, so I've assigned it to you. Tell me if it helps with anything.
Same problem, Christelle.
Where would you like to go?
To the waste treatment, waste collection and treatment.
Okay. Yeah, so anyone just ask me if you need help and I can assign you to the rooms.
Thank you. Yes, can you, I do not have a breakout room button at the bottom of my screen, but I also would like to go to the waste collection and treatment workshop.
Yeah, sorry, who's speaking? Because I can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Portia Pursley from USA.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that. Portia, okay, to the waste. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I want to go to the agriculture and food security, and I can't see the breakout room at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult if I have to manually move everyone. Right. So who's speaking? Sorry.
Alfredo Dindo.
Yes. And you want to go to which one?
Agriculture and food security.
Okay.
Hi,
you're back. You're mute.
You don't have the link yet to be shared with the members. I'll paste it from the email that we sent yesterday.
Hang on.
Hi, my name is Nazir. Could I also be moved to the waste collection and treatment?
Sure. Hang on, I need to send you the link. I'll send you by email, Sunil. Or
Sorry, say it again.
What, you need the links to go to the mirror board?
Yes, I need to copy the link so that I can share it with everyone, right?
Yeah. I'll send it. I'll try and get it.
Yeah, I'll just join the group again, I believe.
I have it by email. Can I send it to you by email?
No, I have it on the email. I'm just trying to now go back to the team, join my waste collection link. Can you please rejoin me again?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, this is George. Is it possible to share the link on the chat here so that we all the different breakout rooms, because I don't have it either.
I'll try. I'm not exactly sure how it moves. I think it's when you have the control buttons, mute, stop video, etc., and you press the 3 dots, and then it says move to breakout rooms, and you have to choose which one you go to there. Otherwise, I can manually do it. But
Sunil,
I can't.
Sorry.
I've assigned Sunil, I've assigned the room to you, but it says that you haven't joined, so I'm not too sure. I tried changing.
Yeah, now I can.
Can I join the agriculture and food security workshop?
Okay, hang on. Agriculture, yes. Yeah.
Okay, now I can.
And
I'm sorry,
smart sanitation and public health.
Sorry, I opened my email to get the links.
No, I have the link. Can you please let me go in the room? Then I can.
Well, I don't know why you can't go because I sent you there. But it says that you haven't joined, so I'm not sure why.
Because I left the meeting so that I could join, I could copy paste the link, unfortunately.
Yeah, but now I can't move you anymore. I've moved you to the room, so you can't get the button anymore?
No, I can't go in. It says I didn't join, that's all.
Maybe leave Zoom and come back and I'll try again.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. We're figuring out.
Could you move me to collection and treatment, please?
Yes. Done.
And for me, smart sanitation and public health.
Sure. Okay. And I will call out. Tina, where would you like to go?
Hi, sorry, I have to step into another meeting right now. So
okay.
I'm just going to
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's a great session. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Manish, do you want to go somewhere?
Crystal, can you let me in now in the waste
Well,
collection?
I just assigned you to the room, so you should be able to, but it keeps showing that you're grayed out and you haven't joined. I'm not too sure why.
I don't know because I'm leading the session and I'm already late.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Maybe we just stay here then and we have it from here. So we need to bring back everyone.
Everybody else, there are almost 23 people there. It will create confusion.
I know, it's really annoying. Maybe I can try and join. It's a bit risky because then I lose the room.
It still shows me as not joined here.
Yeah, I don't know why. It works for everyone else. I don't know if it's because you left it once. Is there anyone else from TBC who can also go there?
Yeah, there's already Aishwarya and Venu.
Okay.
Oh, this is frustrating.
Oh, yeah. Don't tell me. I don't know what else to do, Sunil.
I'm happy with it, Sunil. I'm stuck here and I don't know how to get out into that room that you're leading. So if it makes you feel any better.
Sure, thank you. But it's just that there are 23 people waiting and I am leading that session and the others are not sure of what we're doing. So it's really not good.
So when
Good
you
luck.
click on join session, it doesn't say anything?
No, it doesn't. When I click on the breakout rooms, it's already showing me in progress. And yeah, that's it. I'll just check with Venu if he can. I'll put some message to Alex.
Hi. Hi. I heard that there was some confusion with I'm just trying to help. Maybe Sunil, you can try switching rooms and go back again.
How do I do that? If you could help
So
me.
if you go, sorry, I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So if you open the breakout rooms, if you open that, you can see the list there, right?
Yes.
Does it give you the option to switch?
No, it doesn't. It just gives me the name of the group and the
Right.
list of participants.
And it says that you are not joined there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you the option to switch.
No.
No, and
Okay,
as the host,
so at the bottom of your screen, of your Zoom screen, if you're on full screen mode right now, on the right hand side, it would give you an option to join if you haven't already.
No, it doesn't give me any option. I mean, the only thing that I have is like participants, chats, share screen, record breakout rooms and reactions. That's it.
yeah, and as the host, I'm able to move people to different rooms, but I've already moved him.
I must tell you, you can also go to a room and come back here.
But I am the host and I have sent Sunil to the room, but he hasn't joined and apparently he can't join. So that's been annoying.
So can I suggest something?
Sure.
Because you're the host, can you join the room Sunil is supposed to join and then switch back with Sunil? Maybe you can try that.
Oh, I'll try, but I don't want to lose the meeting, but okay, I'll try.
You would not, as the host, you will not. I've done it before.
All right, I'll try.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not sure how to go myself, but.
I think you have the option to join any room as the host.
I don't see myself.
Okay. Would it help, because I can join that room, would it help if I go to that room and tell them that there's this issue?
I think they would see our colleagues out there.
Yeah, so maybe I can ask them to come back here. Would that help?
There are 25 of them, Tina.
That's okay. They can just.
Yeah, we could tell them all to come back.
I can just do that. I can help you do that. So because I still have the option to join a room. Is that smart sanitation? Is that the one?
No, it's waste collection and treatment.
Okay, so I'm just going to go there and ask them to switch back here. Is that okay?
Sure. Just check if they're working on it. Fine. If not, then perhaps yes.
Okay. Okay.
There's Portia and everybody there, Krista.
Yeah, no, it's very unfortunate. I can see, but I'm not even sure how it works. Like I can't see myself, for example.
It shows two of us not joined. Oh, Michael George has joined back. I don't know how he joined. I can't join. Oh, now I can join. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Hi, Mark. Hope you can hear me. We're on mute because we all gone into breakout rooms. I'm staying here to facilitate, but basically people are going into special rooms to go into a workshop. So you have a choice between 3 different workshops, smart sanitation and public health, waste collection and treatment, or agriculture and nutrients. And if you tell me, I can move you to a room. You're on mute, I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I just got this invite very late, so that's why we're so late. Myself and my
Yeah,
colleague
no
Patricia.
problem. And it's a bit technical.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have 3 workshops. Is there one in particular that you'd like to attend?
Well, I think the one that we would have got, the one from Alex Snedovic, I think she would have been talking to us probably about smart sanitation and public health. I'd imagine that's the one.
Yeah,
She,
so
but
I'll
we
see
could
if
fit with either 2 or 3, as it turns out.
yeah, I'll send you to smart sanitation.
Okay.
And so I'll
Patricia,
send it to you. You see if you get the option to join. If not, you'll have to click the buttons. Let me see. Let me know.
Okay, I have it here. Yeah, and if you could send it to Patricia also, I think that's where we should be.
Yes, super. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Play Bill. Hi, George. Hi, George. Do you need to be moved to one of the breakout rooms?
Hi, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm late, but I wanted to really join the waste collection and treatment workshop, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll send it to you.
Great, thank you so much.
So you should see the button now to join. Hello, I see someone just joined. You're into the main room. If you want to go into one of the workshops, please let me know and I will send you to the room. Hi, Mark. You're into the main room and we're currently broken out into 3 different workshops. So let me know if you want me to send you to one of the workshops.
Thank you very much. Who's this?
Christelle, sorry.
Christelle, thanks. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Sorry, I was out for a bit. Can you put me into the waste collection treatment?
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, Anand. It's Christelle here. Would you like me to move you to one of the rooms?
Yes, the smart sanitation and public health one, please.
Okay. Hi, Isabella. Christelle here. Would you like me to move you to a room?
Hi, Christelle. Yes, please. Yeah, could I go to the waste collection workshop?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Bye.
Yeah.
Hello, Derek. Christelle here. We're currently broken into workshops. So if you want me to send you into one of the workshops, as you can see, please let me know which workshops you'd like to go. Hi, Derek. Can you hear me? Hi, Erin. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Christelle. Are you holding down the fort in our main meeting room?
It's been an interesting process.
Well, you know what I found was, because I was using my mobile for the first hour, the breakout rooms there was no option for the breakout rooms. So I had to go to my laptop to get into it.
Okay. Yeah, and it took us a while. Sonal was blocked from joining into the room that he was supposed to facilitate. So that was a bit annoying, but eventually it worked. And I'm there hearing the bell when people come in and allocating them to rooms.
No, it's great. Well, I think the feedback's been really positive. I think you guys did a great job. This has been really nice.
No, I think the format of having recorded and then interactions work quite well because you can keep the timing and then you know it's still engaging while you have the interaction. So people are really generally engaged. That's what I like about this group.
Yeah, it's I look forward to when you'll be able to actually join our in-person meeting because it's dinners the night before, it's people
sure.
Coffee breaks, dinners after. It's quite an energetic group. So it's been fun to see some of that continue into.
I'm sure. I was saying to Alex yesterday, you know, I've only ever met the head of my colleagues. It's kind of weird.
I know. Well, I saw that you two were co-located yesterday. Is that
yes,
right?
because and I think it was a good idea because it's quite scary otherwise when something technical happens. And for the first day, it was good.
Good. No, I think it went really well. And I'm looking forward to, I think writing up kind of a op-ed style piece, for after this to kind of put out there. So I'll send that to you for your thoughts, probably end of this week. But so, well, I'm gonna multitask and go off video.
Yeah, I think we're coming back soon. So I'm assuming, I think we had said around 2:15, which is about an hour to come back. So I'm assuming they're all going to come back soon.
Great. Yeah, no, I think that'll be good. And I'm looking forward to hearing the readouts.
Hörs jag nu? Jag har en mute-knapp på headsetet också. Jag måste ha lagt armen på den då. Men det syns inte för det stod att jag hade mikrofon.
Hi, Crystal. You're back.
I was always here. I didn't leave. Just wait a few minutes for everyone to come back.
Christelle?
Yes.
Hi, I think some of the participants they've left, but they're still in the breakout room. How do I get them here in the main?
Which room were you in?
I was in agriculture and nutrients. So
Okay. Okay, I'll move them back home. I'll see if I can do it from there. No, I can't. Maybe I message everyone. Please come back. I'll see if I can move them, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, I think they need to click on leave breakout room. They'll have to do it themselves. I mean, we cannot get them back.
Yeah.
That is what I'm assuming.
I'm just wondering where Alex is, because it would be good that I could just, I might go to the room first and see if I should close them. Hang on.
Oh.
Yeah, hi, I'm back. Yes, so 5 more minutes, so you can have a 5-minute break and then we'll come back to here. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome to the meeting. We're still finishing some workshops, and in a couple of minutes, everyone will come back to the main room here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Christelle.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. It's been interesting.
I'm sure. I look forward to hearing about it. Excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily actually even need slides for the next two.
I have opened the rooms. If you want, we could just go to each of the rooms to see, or share the screen.
The mirror boards. Share their mirror boards. You know what? I can actually just do that from here, though.
You have the three open?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great idea. I had not thought of that. Wonderful. Okay.
That's why I'm here for.
It's so true. Excellent. So I will then share my screen. We can start off with agriculture. Great. We'll wait till we've got quite a few.
Everybody's back.
Is everyone back? Did it all pushed you back to the big room?
It all
Wonderful.
pushed us
Okay.
back.
So we're gonna go through now and look at everyone's Miro boards, and then also hear back from the workshop hosts in terms of maybe one or two things that really came out from each of the workshops. And then what we'll be doing as a team is reviewing this work in the coming weeks and making sure that it feeds into the roundtables as mentioned earlier, and reflecting that back to the membership. So without further ado, Nimish, would love for you to comment on maybe kind of what came out, what was one of the big things that came out of your conversations.
Yeah, quite a good engagement. And I think that there was a recognition that this particular aspect about toilet resources for use in agriculture and food security remains one of the biggest challenges for various reasons, and that we as toilet board have a role in unlocking some of these definitely. In terms of themes, what came about was of course the whole issue of standards and regulations. Lack of standards is a barrier, and archaic regulations are not in allowing new innovations to get there. That was, I think, one big theme we picked up. The other thing was also about support to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs who are bringing in new businesses that use human resources for other uses, including energy or agri-nutrients, have to cross over much more than any other type of a sanitation entrepreneur. For example, you have a toilet provider. He or she has a ready market because there are users waiting to use the toilet, but then there are no users waiting to use human resources on agriculture or for energy. So market development definitely needs to be there. And I think there was an overall I would say assumption or acceptance that toilet board has a big role to play in driving this up. In terms of driving partnerships, Bara spoke about how can toilet board help partnering with academic institutions, because this is a emerging field. Also about help to entrepreneurs in terms of investments and publications, etc., that will help build this as a thematic area. Amani was also quite supportive of FAO's role in driving this, and therefore a partnership forged with FAO on this theme could add value to the entire sector. I would perhaps think that Bara and Amani would like to add a line or two in addition to what I've said.
All good, Nimish. I think you covered the whole case.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Nimish, for that readout. Fabulous. So in the smart sanitation group, we came sort of a similar conclusion, I would say, particularly looking at standards around governance and privacy and security of health data. So we were looking at specifically what is the capacity of sanitation systems to contribute data to global health monitoring, and through the lens of pandemic preparedness, antimicrobial resistance, active pharmaceutical ingredients, and infectious disease tracking. And so what came out there is clearly the need and challenges around ecosystem development, around technology development, also and specifically Jonas from IBM raised that the business model. So it's clear that there is value in the system and there is value in this information, but yet is there a market for that information, or someone actually ready to demonstrate that value by paying? And Cynthia, maybe I'd love to have you give a quick readout as well in terms of kind of how you were seeing that around the ecosystem and global health.
Thank you, Alex. Very quickly, I think you covered most of it. Certainly, this is an area with a super potential. But I think the key issue that we thought in the discussion is that we really need to come strongly with proof points, because as we all know, a government investment is hard to get. It's hard to get governments on board on some of these more like futuristic use of technologies, and particularly with the issues around data privacy. And I mean, we have all lived through the issues associated with COVID tracking and all the rest. So it's not like a super easy, but the potential and the opportunity certainly, we believe, tends to overweigh the risks. So I think we would be obviously discussing more on the details. I think we will land in some topic that will kind of give us the opportunity to narrow down and make really the business case. But at the same time, I think it is super important that we manage to outreach to other organizations closer to the public systems to be able to bridge that conversation and persuade them about the value we're bringing. And I believe there is several data points being built, but this is still very scattered and not aligned. So there is potential for this group, this roundtable conversation, to consolidate some of that and really build a strong case for this work and for the investments and the marketability of these interventions and these innovative models. So a lot of good stuff. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Cynthia. Excellent. And then over to you, Sunil and Venu. I heard you had a bit of a technological issue at the opening, but got rolling. So keen to hear how it went.
Yeah, I mean, there was some technological glitch for almost 10 minutes, but we had good participants. As you can see, the amount of input that we got, excellent information from the team. It's interesting because irrespective of the fact whether we are in the agriculture workshop or the smart sanitation, the conclusions are more or less similar here too, in terms of like, lack of standards or no clarity on the standards in terms of how do you go about transportation, how do you go about treatment, whether there is a market for the reused products that we have been struggling with. Also an interesting part which came out very clearly was the water content in the solids when you have solids and the liquid mixing together, and that leads to more transportation cost. So that came out extremely well here in this. And also the challenge in terms of like, how the government can help in terms of identifying innovators, like, the kind of qualification criteria they put in, only the big companies would qualify and not for the smaller ones. And also there was concern about how this private sector participation again is still in a very nascent stage at this point of time, and that needs to be unlocked at the moment, and that which we discuss at TBC very often. And Venu, perhaps you can talk about the last aspect in terms of what TBC can specifically do.
Sure, I think the overarching theme across these 4 pillars of what TBC can do, I think on the entrepreneur side, more entrepreneur support, more mentoring, more collaboration, more opportunities for entrepreneurs to work with each other, and that's something that we are seeing quite already. I mean, in good momentum. I think the interesting piece here from a projects and publication perspective is that, projects, it seems like the overarching theme is about technology demonstration, about standards demonstration. And some of those technologies and standards could be from other sectors, need not be from sanitation, payment systems being one, such example. On the publication side, I think that we felt more need for business intelligence kind of publications. There is existing technical literature, I think, in greater volume, but there's a gap when it comes to business intelligence. So I think that's one clear ask. And from the investment side, lots and lots of investment is needed. Of course, that's not surprising at all. But I think an important point was, what's the level of public investment? What's the level of private investment? How do they sort of come together and feed into the sanitation economy? So yeah, I think quite insightful discussion, lots of actionable items for us.
Thank you, Venu. Thanks, Sunil. Excellent. So now we are moving into what we've just called the member open mic. So I've canceled out the screen share. I encourage you all to put on gallery view, and if you can, turn on your videos. We'd love to see you, and would just love to hear from you in terms of, what's resonating here. We've gone through the updated member model and kind of our developing results framework. We've now covered the full program, from the Accelerator to the Innovation Lab to the projects in India and developing project around school sanitation. We've also done the workshops, and really keen to hear from you as members, as cohort members, in terms of what is landing for you. Where are you excited? We've tried in the workshop specifically to capture the activities that you might be doing on that we don't know about yet, but we'd like to connect with you on. So just wanted to give some open time towards the end of our annual member meeting, even in this virtual format, to just hear from you. Diana, maybe you could share what you were saying in the workshop about menstrual health and the sanitation economy. We'll break the ice, if you don't mind, with your comments.
Oh, sure. I'm happy that. First, I just want to thank you guys. I think you've done an amazing job organizing and as interactive a coalition meeting as you can. So thank you for all the thought and the work that you guys have put into this. Yeah, I was just telling the group I was in last time that I've been thinking internally as an organization, I feel like there's a big gap right now that the Toilet Board Coalition has kind of dabbled their feet in menstrual health, and I come from the menstrual health sector. And I feel like as we come out of COVID, we need to look for ways where we can fill that gap with the Toilet Board Coalition as we look at that whole ecosystem of the sanitation, to not leave that out. And we've also seen, which I'm sure all of you have, that with COVID, funds that were originally to sanitation have been refunneled. And so I think now it's more important that we link arms together. We don't work in silos, that we help governments see how we all interface together. And as we work together, that we can unlock those resources to help meet the local and national needs. But I think more than ever, we have to prove the value add in what we do and work together. So that's just a few thoughts. And so I've been thinking, how do we use this platform to amplify these messages?
Maybe I'll jump in to keep breaking the ice a bit, but I think that's a really essential point. And when we have our discussions, it's really about an ecosystem approach, and how do we think about creating a stronger ecosystem and actually creating pathways for more people, more types of partners to see the value in engaging in sanitation and hygiene, partnering with the national and local agendas, partnering with what the global agendas are and what we're trying to achieve, but also making it sustainable. So I think this market-based approach, and I popped in and out of a few of the workshops, but I think, Cynthia, your point, and Theo mentioned this in the chat, but just sort of like, where are the value generation opportunities, which not only can be kind of the profit and market building, but it can also be the impact and sort of the actual livelihood boosting and the potential that we're creating in these communities. So I think taking a really holistic view of the value that's being generated, but also recognizing that no one type of partner can do this alone. And it's really about creating opportunities to generate a strong ecosystem. And that's really where I think the vision of the sanitation economy is headed. And I think it's really exciting. And certainly for me, this meeting has been re-energizing, I think, to come together. And I hope we'll be able to continue this conversation more. But there's so many faces here, but certainly welcome maybe any new perspectives. If this is your first time joining us at the TBC, or your first time at one of our annual member meetings, any reactions?
Erin, may I say something?
Please, Anand.
Yeah, touching on the menstrual hygiene aspect, one of the things in the USAID school wash program was to install these sanitary pad dispensing units in toilets in schools. And we got quite a good participation at that time. I remember Coke was with us in that partnership. And it was quite a thing where when we left, they were actually already tying up with the corporates to continue that element. So yes, that is perhaps a good pointer to perhaps see that menstrual hygiene is addressed, because that's a very key component, particularly because I was also mentioning during the course of the day one element about school dropouts in girl children, particularly who basically pass through this issue, and they don't go to schools because of the lack of good sanitation services or toilets. So I think this is a good pointer. Perhaps one can dwell over it to see how we can address this. Thank you, Erin.
Prakash, go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. Today is International Nurses Day, and we feel this day very important because of the global pandemic, and we all are fighting to overcome that situation. And this morning, I rang up my contact in a hospital to understand what's their situation about the preventive measures like gloves, masks, especially with the sanitation workers, because we more closely work with the sanitation workers. And then I mentioned about the sanitary pad. and the guy who was on the other side of the phone was, I mean, kind of like in a complete confusion what I'm talking about, no? So so whenever we talk about this menstrual thing, I mean, it just limit to our discussion on the table. So our respected Anand sir just mentioned about that vending machine, the sanitary pad vending machine. It's also quite common in Nepal in the schools. But as I already expressed in earlier uh, session, that I mean, the donors, especially, you know, like the big donors, ADB, World Bank, and these agencies, they forgot completely the toilets to be built in the schools. And we have in this Aerosan hub model, the vending machine along with the disposable machine as well, because the disposable is the another huge headache for the environment, and also to manage properly the toilets, because the female user feel very discomfort, and they don't want to go to the public toilet just because that, I mean, they don't find places to dispose their used sanitary pads. So we have introduced these things, but what my point here is, like, I mean, the government like Nepal in this country, they simply follow the standards and procedures of the big donors like ADB. So I'm happy to see that in Toilet Board Coalition, in the steering committee, ADB is also there. I saw the logo. I don't know how much contribution and how much participation they have, but I would like to request through this forum that, I mean, we also tried, I mean, our respected David is also here, that we knocked like JICA, EDB, World Bank, everybody's door, even the USAID in Nepal, no? So so it's a very pity to work as a private, because I worked as a municipality officer when I started my career, and then like I worked into the development sector, the NGOs and INGOs, and now I am a activist turned entrepreneur. So I mean, I can see the whole the level of kind of like the perception of the sanitation in different level, but as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, no? So so why should me as a private investor be interested in investing in the public toilet? Because my family says that, I mean, why on earth I'm into that public toilet, no? Taking care of everybody's seat, no? So I mean, and also my bringing my energy and money in there. So I mean, I think it's a time to advocate the donors through this very big platform. I'm very happy to see very influential people here to tell them, like, I mean, it's a very simple thing to reform the public toilet with simple standards and procedures. I already saw Sunil was presenting about the 5-star rating, you know, all those things. So why can't we work? And Anand sir also mentioned in his deliberations that, I mean, we have a South Asian coalition on public toilets. So I think we have to focus more on this cross-learning and do some actionable work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prakash. Venu, I'm wondering if there's anything you'd like, from what you're seeing around the business models and in the Accelerator Program. I heard you present just the other day on some of the really positive news and value and sanitation's unfair advantage. I think maybe you could share a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think that you know, sanitation is unique in so many ways, and I think that uniqueness cuts both ways. We are seeing, we have heard a lot about the challenges. Sanitation, you know, growing a sanitation business is you know, is not easy. It's lots of challenges overcome, and something that Prakash was talking about. I'm sure he understands that quite well. But I think there are some really unique advantages of sanitation as well, and I think that you know, one of the advantages that sanitation has is that you know, there is the demand for sanitation, it's a bit challenging to realize that demand. But once you've realized that demand, it's very durable. It can be really enduring demand. It depends on biology. Doesn't depend on boom or bust cycles. It can be quite recession proof. And I think you must have some of the public toilets, community toilets that we see around the world have seen this kind of demand stability, lots of resilience in the business model. The other is that there is wherever we look across Asia, Africa, and also Latin America, that we see large markets where SMEs have a first mover advantage. There is no competition right now, and therefore they can, they have a different kind of challenge. At least they don't have a very traditional competitive challenge in most markets, and that can really lay the foundation for a strong business. And then finally, I think my favorite amongst all the three, I think, is the fact that sanitation value chain meets its customers every day, every single day, and perhaps multiple times a day. I mean, there's just so much value in that one single feature of sanitation value chain. I mean, no other value chain, or perhaps not many value chains can boast of that advantage. I mean, if we look at public toilets, we look at the waste treatment plant along the value chain, we see every day those supply chains meet their customers perhaps multiple times. Of course, that has revenue advantages. You can layer multiple revenue streams. You can improve the economics of your business. But even beyond the economics, just the strategic value of the business that sanitation value chains are delivering, the service that they're delivering, the value that they're delivering is just so strategic in nature. I mean, there are so many examples at the mouth of that value chain where public toilets, community toilets exist, how they're creating value. It's not simply about sanitation. In many cases, it's about health products. In some cases, it's about food products as well. It's about many other things. It could be about mobile charging services, prepaid cards, whatever the community is consuming. We know that they are going to visit the sanitation center, and therefore, those becomes a strategic asset. So I think that, we are in that supply-demand gap. Obviously, investors look at that gap, and, that's the attraction for them for the sector. The entrepreneurs know how difficult it is to fill that gap because, realizing the demand in itself is quite challenging. But I think once you realize that demand, rest assured that you're realizing a really stable, durable, quite recession-proof demand. So I guess it's worth the toil. So yeah, I mean, we keep emphasizing these advantages to investors, and so I think it's always good to remind ourselves.
And Erin, over to you for some closing words.
Great. And well, first, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Secretariat for planning and developing the content around this incredible 2-day session. I think all of the comments in the chat and the remarks that people have made, this is an engaged community. This is a broad community. And it's a community really committed to the goals that we have around sanitation and hygiene globally, and the recognition of the value it brings to our communities, and I think to our own businesses as well. And so, a couple of initial reactions. One is just the diversity. I mentioned this on the opening day, just how well represented we are around the world, the different types of companies. And I'm looking forward in the new member model to that only increasing. So we've lowered the barrier to entry, or the bar for entry, in terms of engaging more types of smaller, innovative businesses that may be much more regionally focused and really understand the local context and communities in which they serve. We'll be expanding the invitations for the Partnership Council and opening that up into a much more diverse group of partners to really bring those voices in. And then as Venu was just highlighting, our engagement with the investor community and really helping to educate them about the uniqueness and the unique value that comes from investing in sanitation and hygiene is, the new ways and the more expanded ways that I think the TBC is looking to operate in the coming years. And I think most critically is all of us are sitting where we are on a Zoom screen, a year after we thought we were doing our once only virtual annual member meeting. It's just to remember that this is the community of support that we have. And these are the mentors who want to work with you. We want to partner. The chat has been rich with, share contact details, sharing resources. Let's not have that stop. It's really important that we, if you saw someone's presentation or if someone made a comment that really inspired you or was interesting in a meeting or a workshop, email them, pick up the phone, get online and keep that conversation going. The model that we're rolling out, the roundtables, is very much a dynamic structure. We're evolving it. The feedback today has already been immensely helpful. And it's not going to be possible without the continued engagement from this group. So the Toilet Board Coalition continues to have a really bold vision about what we think the sanitation economy can be and the value that it can deliver, and how each of us continues to play a role in launching new business models and services, new partnership models to help local communities and governments and utilities and national plans succeed, is ultimately what's going to get us to that vision and ultimately going to carry us to achieve our broader global goals. So with my sincere thanks to the Secretariat and the immense amount of work that went into this, to each of you for showing up at all hours of the day and for really engaging. I only ask for your continued engagement and your continued commitment. And we look forward as the TBC to being that platform, to being that facilitator, and to helping keep the momentum from today going. So thank you so much. I know that Alex will be making these sessions available, I believe, for people to revisit and to share with select groups. But if there's any kind of closing logistics, but just want to end with my sincere gratitude and thanks, and hope that you all stay safe and well.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe and healthy. Bye.